You can't be in doubt of your gut feeling. You cannot be in doubt of your instinct, what your instinct tells you. And if you follow your gut feeling and instinct, you cannot be wrong. So that doubt has to go, and dialogue will just flow out. It just pours out, in fact. Very often, more often than not, I faced it in my experience as a writer for certain projects. And in my experience as a director, I faced it with writers in certain projects. You know, dialogues just go on, and you have to start cutting them, and you have to start pulling them out because there's too much dialogue. So once you get into the flow, there's no end to the amount people have to say. A 3-hour film is invariably, or 2-hour film is invariably written much longer. It's the final product that comes out as a 2-hour film. And in television, there's no end to it, so you can use that dialogue throughout. But follow your instinct and your gut feeling. Of course, you can't break rules unless you know them. So knowing your rules, knowing your techniques, knowing the methodology is very, very important as well. I don't rule that out at all. But after you know it perfectly is when you can break all those rules and you can set your own way of functioning. And that might become a method for many other people to learn at a later time. You know, so that's how methods and academics of writing really grow as well. Because people discover new methods and new techniques. What are you doing actually? Are you into script writing or
filmmaking?
Filmmaking.
Yeah, also involved in script writing.
Also, yeah, naturally. Anybody else? Where are the editors? How many editors are here? That's quite a number. And you do realize that the final narration is on your shoulders, all of you. Right? So, is there anything about script writing that you would like to know? Because I think without realizing it, editors tend to be the final narrators. Without their final touch, a film is not complete. And beyond a point, just from the technique of editing that you cut and paste and cut and paste, is really the narrative which comes out of the editor's, you know, process. And vice versa, the greatest thing that I think script writers need to learn, especially when we are writing screenplay, is editing. In fact, that was one of the first few things I decided to learn once I became a scriptwriter, because that was, I'd started writing the series Tara, and my biggest handicap was knowing how many pages, knowing the pace, and I realized that it all comes through the editing. So I started sitting in at the editing. And the first 25-30 episodes of Tara, I personally sat and edited with the editors. And I understood the pace, the timing, the scene structures, the number of pages that would be required for me as a writer to deliver to the production house. And that's how I started getting it much better. And of course, all the directors like you were very happy with me, because it becomes a personal responsibility of a writer as well, you know. Script writing is not something, especially for a film, that's going to happen in 1 month, 2 months. Oftentimes, it's much more than 6 months that it takes. I'm living with certain scripts that I'm about to make for the last 3 or 4 years, you know. But the minute you pick up a character from somewhere, you will go wrong. So if you're in any way picking up, you know, I'm not saying that in Bollywood it doesn't happen, it happens. But used to happen much more than it happens now. Why? Because to the audience, today the audience is far more literate than it used to be earlier. So when the audience was illiterate, you could play with them. As the audience is getting more and more literate, you can't play with them anymore. Why are the new age cinemas, movies that are coming in all so interesting and different? Because people have realized that the audience is no longer a fool. Now the audience picks up, acha ye to Batman and Robin se utha liya character, acha ye to yahan se utha liya character. And that doesn't go well for you. And because the audience picks it up, I'll go back to one point I'd made earlier. Even the executive you're pitching to is going to pick it up. Because all of us are watching, eating, breathing, living cinema day and night, whether through TV, whether on the internet, whether through publicity, marketing, etc., etc. And even in conversations with our friends and surroundings. The trick, I told you the big trick, is to pick up circumstances, situations, but your characters cannot be similar. Because the minute you are similar, you are wrong. So it's tough. You need to throw them out of your system. You need to, and the best way to do that, you know, is to come up with new characters, is to look around you. They're all there in your life. It's just what slant you'll give to one person who's around you. That person won't even ever get to know that you picked up something from them and turned it into a character. But that tweaking and all you have to do. And every single character, if you see in the greatest of cinema in the whole world, the biggest of characters ever told, they are picked up from life and then given those edges, given those madnesses, or given those beauties and those, you know, those flares by the filmmaker and the writers themselves. But they are from real life. If they don't touch upon real life, they will not touch a chord in you. And if they don't touch a chord in you, they don't touch a chord in the audience. The minute you pick up a character from a movie, you've lost your audience. At first, you've lost your pitch. It's no point going to an executive and telling him that this is my story. He'll turn around and tell you, wow, I've heard it before. And I think I've also seen it before. So I don't want it.